fractures our attention, further desensitizing our dopamine receptors, making us less sensitive to reward. A few tips for this. When you arrive early to a lunch meeting, just sit quietly without your phone. When waiting in line, pay attention to your breath. When commuting to work, just drive, ride, or walk in silence. You will be forced to be present and tolerate those moments where you don't have much stimulation or engagement. And this will make you more and more sensitive over time. Your baseline for what's boring will shift, and you'll cultivate a monk-like quality of mind, which is highly conducive to profound levels of focus, flow. Third thing we want to do is do everything one thing at a time. You can heighten reward sensitivity by simply doing things once at a time with singular focus. Now, as I've improved my focus and my access to flow, there's certain things that become worse at, and one of those things is multitasking. I've become way worse at multitasking. It's embarrassing, in fact. My team laughs at me because whenever I'm out on a walk with them of any kind, and I need to send a text, I literally stop talking mid-sentence, reach out my phone, then I end up not walking either, and all of a sudden I'm standing in silence texting while we were mid-conversation and they're walking ahead of me. This is due to the interplay between the default mode network, the DMN, and the task positive network, the TPN, in the brain. When you're not engaged in a task, the default mode network is active. But when you're focused, the TPN, the task positive network, takes over.
Woo! Good morning, fam. Happy Friday. It's good to see everybody. Dreamers, I hope you all had a phenomenal start to the week so far. And let's go ahead and wrap this thing up with a bow to end this week off with a bang. Cedric in the building. Johnny, Jojo, it's good to see you. Raj, I love to see it. Honestly, I'm fired up to be officially into the start of the summer. And the end of this month, we are getting into the second half of the year. So it's safe to say we are ready, we are prepared, and this is just the beginning of all the abundance flowing to and through. And yesterday, you guys can see, go back and check out my last video, and I laid out the complete blueprint to go ahead and dominate in 10x over the summer and coming into Mexico in the sauna. Listen to the sauce today. Oh yes, one of my favorite spots to be. I love it. So today's topic, fam, as you guys can see, is going to be getting into the flow state. You see, the flow state is something that all of us have experienced at one point in time or another. And today I want to just go ahead and specialize on how we can go ahead and really get into that for this summer sprint, this 90-day run. So with no further ado, let's get live on IG. Let me see a little bit of gratitude down below. What's everybody grateful for coming into the Friday? A lot to be grateful for, a lot to be blessed for. So let's get into it. Here we go. Getting into flow state. Oh, yes. I need this one. A lot of distractions coming this summer. I feel it. I know it. I see it year after year. That's why I want to make sure everybody's aligned today. Awesome. IG, it's good to see you. So grateful to be alive. Grateful for the family. So thankful for God. Grateful. Today's Friday. That's right. It's payday. Yes, it is residual day. So grateful for the access. Thankful for a lot of the times. You know, yesterday I was thinking about it on that call, and I think about it, how many summers that we've been able to see just fly by. And this, I believe this is the summer for each of us to really go ahead and 10x and take all aspects of our life to the next level. So I'm grateful for the positioning. I'm grateful for the awareness, and I'm grateful for all of us because I know this is going to be one to remember. So let's dive in. Absolutely. Here we go. So getting into flow state, you know, we got a training this morning and it talked about this visualization. Flow state is tough because there's a lot of distractions. Emerson talks about one of the toughest things for man or woman is to be able to hold the thought, hold the idea long enough to allow it to manifest from the spiritual side out into fruition physically. So in order to be able to do that, number one is going to be able to go ahead and get rid of the distractions. In order to have distractions, we have to have traction on something. So if you guys heard the beginning of today's video, you heard there's two parts of our brain. We have a default mode network, and then we also have a task mode network. And we all know what this is like. We could be there, but we're not really there. we're not really paying attention. And I've noticed what this is like trying to multitask. That's why now when I'm on one thing, I'm focused on it, and that's what I'm working on to go ahead and get that done, and then moving on to the next. So here's the visual for today. Imagine a river. How many, Jojo, I know you guys got some rivers out there. What are some big rivers that you guys can think about? Maybe out in Florida, maybe out in Texas. I want you to picture maybe the last one that you guys have went on. A boat that you guys have been on at one point in time. I visited one of the most beautiful rivers in Arkansas. I'll never forget, a couple of years ago, Shane Talina and I, to go actually Deanne and John were there too, to go see our mentor, Sean. And we literally went on a boat through one of the most prettiest rivers I've ever seen. And here's the thing about rivers. Rivers have two sides, right? They have two banks. And this was such a phenomenal visual that we got this morning from Sean, and this was it. He said, think about time freedom. When we think about time freedom, what do we think about? What's the first thing that comes to mind for each and every single one of you when I say the words time freedom? Let me know down below. What do you guys think about? Because time freedom for everybody is going to be different. For some, it's traveling the world. For some, it's being able to go ahead and get up when they're done sleeping. What is that for you? So here was the analogy that he talked about with the river. Imagine a river we have two sides, right? We're going down the river and we can look to the right and we see a bank, and we look to the left and we see a bank. And he said, time freedom, endless opportunities for me, honestly. Okay, I love it. Beautiful. So imagine this. Time freedom is a lot like a river. A free-flowing river has boundaries. It's free. Think about it. It's free-flowing effortlessly downstream. But what happens when a river overflows? It's no longer moving free. It doesn't have freedom because it has boundaries. So what are the boundaries that we need in our lives to go ahead and be able to allow us to flow effortlessly and freely without interruption? And I was like, ooh, I never thought about it like this one before, because this is so true. In order to be able to truly get to time freedom, whatever that is for any of us, it's going to take having boundaries, having banks on both sides, so we can be able to go ahead and allow ourselves to have the discipline, the consistency, the organization to be able to go ahead and flow freely without distractions. And then he asked the question, what does life look like when we're no longer getting distracted with all of these little different noises on our phone, speeches going on the internet, things coming off of the television, phone calls coming in all day long? What would it mean to truly have clear focus on an activity for 30, 45 minutes? He says it's unbelievable what we could do truly locking in. And here's the last thing I want to leave everybody with today, because it was short and sweet, but it was just a really great analogy to think about how many of us can just add some little tweaks into our life to really go ahead and get truly focused. I didn't learn boundaries until this past year. You see what it's done for me? Yes, absolutely. It's so interesting. When it comes to success, a lot of it is not about huge changes. Believe it or not, it's the little small details that lead to the bigger picture. It's just those little boundaries. Like, for instance, let's say eating. Maybe a boundary for you, losing weight over the summer at 9:30 p.m., I'm done eating. That's my boundary. That's why I'm going to be cut off, right? Maybe sugar. You want to cut out sugar for the next 60 days. That's a boundary. Whatever it is. I don't want to get up before 11 a.m. without having done my full morning rituals, without having maybe put a trade in, without having maybe put out 5 e-commerce products, maybe messaging 10 different people. That's a boundary, believe it or not, to go ahead and get to time freedom. Maybe shooting out 5 gratitude messages in the morning. These are boundaries, believe it or not. So when we can truly identify what it is that these boundaries are, this is where flow state truly allows itself to manifest, because now we have focus. And if you look at the acronym FOCUS, yes, 10x my e-commerce, my health, family, fitness, life is so much happier. If you look at the word focus, what does this mean? Follow one course until successful. So during the season, to really get into flow state, I know without a doubt it is going to take a massive amount of focus to be able to go ahead and get there. Mike, it's being in control inside of your own mind, knowing what needs to be done and doing them. And I'm glad you brought that up because you want to know what the biggest gap for 95% of people is? Here's the biggest gap. They call it the gap between knowing and doing. You see, a lot of people know what to do. Think about it. How many of us know how to go ahead and get a six-pack? Maybe how to go ahead and lose some weight, how to level up in our e-commerce store, how to go ahead and see some success, maybe on our social media. We all know what to do. Get on with the educators, ask questions, show up, be a product of the product, go to the gym, have a calorie deficit if we're looking to lose weight. But the hardest part is not knowing. A lot of us know what to do, but the difference, here's the gap between knowing and doing. Those that actually know and do is what separates those that just know. You see the difference? So in this season, I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, because this is the season to go ahead and not just know, but also do. Because yes, when we know better, we can do better. But for those that don't take action, that's irrelevant. The lesson never got learned. So to be able to take that, internalize that, that's huge. To know and to not do is to not know at all. Every day is a choice. Yes, absolutely. So that was just my little piece I wanted to go ahead and throw in for today, fam. But the law of attraction works like this. Speaking what it is that we do want. What is the body that we're looking for the summer? What is the account size in our trading? What are the sales that we want to go and accomplish? I know JoJo's going to smack 1,500 any freaking day now. Been on an absolute roll. But it takes getting clear, setting boundaries. Like, yo, she's been telling me all the time. She's like, D, I'm putting out 5 products every day. That's her boundaries. That's why she doesn't miss a Joey Medina call. She's on every freaking one. So the reason why this success is manifesting is because boundaries have been created. So kudos to you all. Drop some threes down below. 1475, yo, 15. Can we get some 1500s? Because 1500 is going to get smacked today on the Friday. Congratulations. One of our top 5 in all of the academy. Think about that. In the entire billion-dollar company, she is in the top 5, if not the top 4 right now. So I say that to say, this is just one of many testimonies on here that has done exactly just this. If you wonder how the results happen, ask JoJo if she got into flow state. Ask Anissa if she got into flow state during the course of this. And if you go back and you look at the root, the reason how it was able to happen is because boundaries were created, whether it was known or not. But this is how it works. Goal is number 1. One of our newest educators coming up. So proud of you. I love to see it. This is what it's all about. Rising tides raises all ships. I say it all the time, but everybody's wins. Your guys' wins inspires everybody else. So don't be afraid to drop down your wins in the chats. Drop down your wins in the chat because I'm telling you, it's like logs on a fire. Every log that we continue to throw on allows this fire to burn brighter and allow more people to see the success, more people to see the light, and give them a chance to raise their hand and say, hey, I want some of that. You realize that's what this game is? This game is about being able to go ahead and not just learn these skill sets, but we're able to go ahead and build a tribe. Because here's what happens. When we get into flow state, when we start becoming the best version of ourselves, here's what happens. We start to inspire others to become the best version of themselves as well. Monkey see, monkey do. So it works both sides. It works negatively and it also works positively. And we get to leverage that in our favor by going out and being the light, being the example, and being the ones to go ahead and run into the darkness head first, knowing that greatness is on the other side of fear. So fam, don't forget, we have a fire call coming soon for e-commerce. Yes, the dream team, it is coming. Stay tuned. We have some major things in the works. So I'm excited. I couldn't be more fired up and I couldn't be more blessed to be running alongside such a powerful community, such a diverse, skilled, and individualized community where each of us is allowed to shine, showcase our skills, and truly sharpen each other. So fam, I appreciate you guys. I'm grateful for all of you. Let's go out and have a phenomenal rest of this Friday. Stay tuned. We've got some big calls coming for next week And this weekend, 1% better every single day. Most live for the weekend. That's why they live weak. So, fam, let's take this weekend to sharpen our sword, get out in nature, hit the gym, connect with the family, connect with our creator. And for those that are actually in town in Southwest Florida, Shane has a huge event going down in the Hertz Arena. We're going to be getting in some godly words in this weekend, filling up our cup. So I highly suggest you guys to go ahead and take some time to do the same, whatever that is for you, to be able to go ahead and fill your cup up for the weekend. Because here's what I know. When we can fill our cup up, now we can go ahead and overflow into others. So happy Friday, fam. I appreciate you guys. Remember, we can be, do, and have anything we can hold in our mind. We can hold it right here in our hand. See you soon, fam. Let's go out and make it happen and turn these dreams into reality. It's game time. Let's grow.